the next speaker. We have Henry. Henry Stewart of the Meta Camera and Visualize, presenting over 13 years, see here, of production with Louis Vuitton, BBC, Mercedes, Red Bull, and this magic camera that makes everything possible. And I see a contraption coming back, so I have a feeling what this is going to be about. Henry, go ahead. Yes. Just don't break it.
I'll try not to. Hi everyone, thanks for having me here. Let's see if the clicker's going to work. It is. So I'm from Meta Camera, and we make 360 or immersive video cameras. I'm here with Sebastian Hagemeister, which is a reassuringly German name for your CTO, and we're over at B2, and this is one of our lovely cameras. So just to explain kind of why we started this company together, we've been creating immersive content for years. Since 2010, we've been making 360 films. And that was with all kinds of amazing kind of hacked together custom rigs that we were forced to build because the little cameras that we used, often made of balls of kind of GoPros, just really weren't giving us that quality. They weren't giving us that low light kind of quality and clarity, and they weren't giving us the resolution we needed. So we decided to make our own. And through the years, these are some of Seb's kind of Franken rigs, we call them sometimes. That one's made up with black magics. There's some GoPro rigs, and these were kind of 3D printed together. And this would be back in kind of 2014, 2015. That one on the right there actually did 12K, amazingly. And this rig here, Seb actually built for Melody VR. I don't know if you remember them, but they're no more, sadly. But that was kind of what we see as the Meta Zero. And so what were we trying to make? Well, as we always make these films, we know exactly what pains we get from 360 cameras. We know how hard the stitching can be, and we know when it's worth using 3D and when it's not, and when mono is just better or good enough. So we decided to make the first camera using the best possible sensors, lenses, and orientation of all the parts of the camera. So the key thing being one stitch line, and that was when we built the Meta 1. And you know that's how it looks. Brilliant camera with this kind of aluminium chassis, and then it had this 3D printed nylon case. But crucially, these Japanese hand-polished N-Tanya lenses, and it produced brilliant and absolutely beautiful footage. But the problem was it was very heavy and very big as well. So we had to start thinking about what the next camera was going to be and how to kind of advance it forward. But here's some of the kind of shots showing it in use, including with orchestras. And actually, you know, one of our best clients is the Philharmonia Orchestra, and we've done a huge amount of work with them. And if you come to our stand, we can show you some really lovely footage from Sibelius. But moving on, we started making the Meta 2, so it's the same kind of components, the same kind of quality as the Meta 1, but just with a smaller form factor. And we put the sensors really close together so that the stitching would be really seamless and really, all the footage would look really good. And so that meant we could, you know, take it off on drones more easily, put it on zip lines. We drive the cameras on these kind of rovers by Motion Impossible quite a lot. This one's called the Mantis, and it is setting up inside a car. And this is the lead singer of Bastille at Birmingham New Street Station doing a gig for EE in the UK. And one of the advantages of having, you know, a fisheye at the front and a fisheye at the back is he could almost touch his nose to the lens and we still get a really cool looking shot. And we took these cameras to the Eden project, and we did a big 5G project there where the cameras were streaming over 2 years. And some of the cameras were set up on these kind of zip lines and these wires that would take the cameras up and down through the canopy of this rainforest. So not only was it hot, but it was also incredibly humid in there. And the cameras lasted 2 years. We took them out, and I'll show you how they looked at the end, because you know, we're pretty pleased with the fact they still worked. And this is just kind of behind the scenes of us kind of putting those cameras together. But then one of the things we started noticing is that every time we came to shows like this, everyone would point at the cameras and they'd say, what's the resolution? And so we decided to really push the resolution high and just go for shoot for the moon. And so we produced the Meta 3, which is still the highest resolution 360 video camera on the market, monoscopic. And this is us kind of going through the stages of producing it. We do all the prototyping with 3D printing before we produce aluminium anodized parts. We produce our own PCBs that connect all the different camera bodies together inside. And we have to do a lot of work on the kind of thermal side to make sure that everything doesn't overheat. And also that ideally for most of our cameras, they cool just with convection. So that means you can put them in the middle of an orchestra and you won't get them complaining at you. The Meta 3, just a few kind of pictures of it being used around the world. One of the things that surprised us, we built the camera for VR originally, but this new industry started to pop up, the virtual production industry. And we were building the Meta 3 in around kind of 2022, 2023, and the cameras started getting rented and used in setups, not like that one, that's my friend Jack. I wouldn't recommend holding it like that, but more like this, and producing these backplates at 12.5K, and these plates get used in virtual production studios so that you can film other things against whatever backdrop we capture. And like virtual production studios are really well known for kind of Unreal-based CG workflows, but actually sometimes the gritty reality or the amazing kind of detail of reality is just irreplaceable, and that's where we come in. And so the cameras have been used on Hollywood productions through to to Netflix behind the scenes shows and experiences. So yeah, the Meta 3 is my favorite of the cameras. And then we moved on to produce this one, the Meta 4. We're quite creative with our naming, aren't we? And the Meta 4 is our first stereoscopic or 3D camera, but it's got quite a unique feature in that, and these are a few pictures of our kind of early designs of it and so on, but the unique thing is that you can actually change the lenses as well. So you can use the camera as a kind of very high quality 3D 360 camera, or if you change those lenses to ones like you can see here, you can shoot much higher resolution mono. And this setup, this was in Canada. We shot all of these backplates of all the beautiful landscapes of Canada for FIFA, and then they have these fan zones with screens all the way around, and people can stand in them and see this beautiful footage, kind of pixel perfect. So yeah, the camera also got used in Touching the Sky, which was a Red Bull and a Meta production last year. And Seb's taken the camera to the Himalayas and done projects with snow leopards. And also, if you come to our stand, we can show you this film, which was Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary special, which won an Emmy. And our cameras are all over the crowd, and you can look behind you and see Robert De Niro and Ryan Reynolds and all kinds of amazing people. It's almost more interesting than watching the show. So yeah, we're pretty pleased with that. But drones are one of the things that we started doing a lot more work with, and getting these huge cameras up in the sky isn't very easy. Seb is a lot better at it than I am, and this is in Finland, this is in Thailand, so we have to stabilize the camera really carefully, so we add this gimbal to the bottom, which has to be carefully balanced. And then we've also made cameras that go directly into a drone itself. This drone was built to reach 200 kilometers an hour, with the idea being that it would be able to chase wingsuit divers. And this is my attempt with drones, and I'm not as good as Seb, so this is what happens generally when I try. Whoa, that one's down. Sadly, the audio is not coming through. This is Nevada. Watch out. Okay, well that's how it ended up looking. That's the Meta 3, quite an expensive mess, but that was day one of a shoot I was doing in Nevada. And we dusted the camera off and did 6 more days of shooting afterwards. And so they're built tough. And I think we've lost clicker. So yeah, I think they're playing with the sound. I'll give them a bit more time. Can you just shout when you've got it ready again? Save me continuously clicking. I didn't break it. Yeah, I mean, I make it look really, really hard to fly these, but I think anyone with a little bit more care, as Seb has shown, is quite easy to fly them, really. But we tend to do it with these huge drones called the Alta X. Yeah, and crucially, the gimbal's vital to getting that kind of really crisp and clear footage. So, I'm clicking on, here we go. That's these are the cameras as they came back from the Eden project. And that one looks like it's been hit by a pterodactyl. But we basically clean these all off, and amazingly, they all still work. I wouldn't sell them to you though. And then if someone wants a really custom rig, we build all kinds of incredibly kind of custom-made projects as well. So have a look at this. Try again. No. Hang on. I'm going to try going back. Would it be possible for you to click that thank you? That's the one. Cannot play media. Well, there we go. Imagine this. It's a golf flagpole with a camera in it, right? So it's it's basically one of our Meta cameras, a white one in a very kind of thin casing, and it allows you to look all around the hole, and it's this incredibly unique view. And they had this big indoor golf tournament, TGL, I can't remember what it's called, but a big indoor golf tournament over in America. And on the TV screens, they had this OB truck in the back, and they could just tilt this joystick and turn the camera down and look and watch the ball kind of going into the hole, seeing all the celebrations around. And it was this incredibly kind of unique view. So that's one of the other things we do, is we get approached by people to build kind of very unique, very custom-used cameras. So there we go. We're on stand B2. Come and say hi. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Harry. Thank you very much.